Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to your webinar for today. My name is Lettie Janse van Vuuren, and I'm going to be your facilitator for the next hour and a half or so. Right, we should be finished by 12. All we need to do is to just focus on the questions that we're going to get afterwards. So the webinar name today is OHS, which stands for Occupational Health and Safety. And this is all about an overview for employers on the new Consolidated directive that was published. All right, it was gazetted. It was issued by the Ministry of Employment and Labour on the 28th of May, and it was gazetted on the 11th of June. So it already has come into effect. It normally comes into effect on the date that it's gazetted. All right. But it's all about the consolidated direction on OHS measures in certain workplaces. Right. I see Lisbeth says it's cold in Cape Town. Oh, no, that means there goes our pleasant weather. And in 2 days' time, it hits us up here. So much for having a nice weekend. Our weekend's probably going to be cold again. Right. Okay. So let me just quickly start. So there's my blurb, or my marketing blurb, or a little bit of background of where I am and what I do and what I've been doing. This is what I do for a living. I'm a professional trainer and a webinar host. So when I'm not busy writing courses and doing research, I'm responsible for the MCLU at SAAA. So that means that I've got to be very much up to date every day, doing a lot of research on what's changed in terms of the acts, in terms of compliance, and in terms of legislations. When I'm not doing this, then I do consulting for audit practices and accounting practices, normally in terms of quality control or file reviews, or even just when they have visits from the regulators like IRBA or SAICA or those type of visits. All right. So let's go and have a look at what's on the agenda. The contents for today is as follows. I'm going to start off with an introduction and the basics of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. That includes a little bit of abbreviations used, and it also includes who does the OHSA apply to, because the directions apply to everybody except the ones that are excluded by the OHSA. So where necessary, I have included those sections for you so that you've got it as a summary. We're going to look at the legislative documents that have been issued, and I'm talking about the Act, the regulations, and the directions. And then mainly today, our focus is going to be on this newly amended consolidated OIS direction. Right. So a direction is the same as a directive. It's just called a direction for labor purposes. And we're going to look at these specifically, what is specifically applicable to smaller organizations. And I'm talking about smaller organizations, employees, entities with employees of 10 or less. Right. And then very important in there, I've identified a couple of sections that are important, but there's also your workplace skills plan. That is very important. Workplace skills plan. I'm with Facet now. Your workplace plan in terms of occupational health and safety, like I gave you that example for. So that's what we're going to be focusing on there. Then I'm quickly going to look at some labor-related cases that came about as a result, and that relate to the organization, relate to their regulations now, and to this direction. Just lastly, some practical considerations for you as an employer, and then just lastly in closing. So that's I've got all your slides ready. Let's quickly just jump in and have a little bit of a quote. The Reynolds Training Services, they're a training services company, and I found this quote on their website. They specifically do training regarding occupational health and safety, and they say that safety doesn't happen by accident. And it's so true. Right, we now in Popia, where we've got to worry about safeguarding our data. We've got the crimes, the Cyber Crimes Act, where we've got to worry about safeguarding our data and making sure that we only operate in safe spaces and all sorts. And safety is just a huge concern. Right. But remember, it doesn't just happen naturally. You have to work at it, and you have to have a plan and go forth. All right. So let's start off with the introduction. I'm going to quickly move through the abbreviations that I've used during the slides. So you'll see I've used OHS, that means Occupational Health and Safety. OHSA is the Occupational Health and Safety Act of 1993. BCEA is the Basic Conditions of Employment Act 1993. And the reason why the BCEA is prevalent is because everywhere where they talk about the term employee, an employee is phrased and coined in terms of the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. Right. And then lastly, PPE as an auditor. PPE always used to mean property, plant, and equipment to me, but PPE now stands for personal protective equipment. All right. So just so that you know that. As part of our introduction, we know that, yes, it's very, very important that we've got since we've got even more people back at work under alert level 3, adjusted alert level 3 now that we're back to. We used to be an adjusted level 3, then we went to adjusted level 4, and that was going back from level 5 last year. We went back, and we're now gone back to level 4, back to level 3 finally, but still adjusted. And very important, as accountants and auditors, we need to not only ensure that we comply with these occupational health and safety measures, but you can also assist your clients with compliance. And I think right at the end of the slides today in my summary, I also mentioned why it's so important that you know about the regulations and you know about the legislation that is out there. Remember that there's something called no-CLAR, right? There is something called no-CLAR. No-CLAR stands for non-compliance with laws and regulations. And based on that, we absolutely have to worry when we are doing a report, an engagement, either an audit or an independent review for our clients. And if we are acting in our capacity as professional accountants within an organization, so in an organization, so we're employed in our personal capacity, even then we have a responsibility towards no-CLAR. We need to report the non-compliance to somebody. And the non-compliance with laws and regulations is very wide. Every single day, every month, you'll see, oh, now there's this new act. I attended a webinar yesterday where they talk about the new Cybercrimes Act. And in the Cybercrimes Act, they criminalize things, but they talk about unlawful activity as any and all existing acts that exist. And it's a big thing, guys, if you think about it, that we've got to know about all of this. We do not have to be specialists. And luckily, that's because we've got platforms like this that can just point you in the right direction. So that when you are performing an independent review or an audit on your clients in future, you know that where it says the relevant laws and regulations that directly or indirectly affect the entity, you know that occupational health and safety is going to be key. All right. Not only in the past where it's only if you're in a hard hat area and whatnot, if you've got a factory. Those days are gone. Even if you operate within an office, occupational health and safety says if you've got a lift, an elevator, the elevator has to be serviced regularly. Your fire extinguishers have to be serviced. Your evacuation plan, all of those things. No exits are allowed to be blocked. It's going down to the grassroots level. And if you are not seeing this and you're speaking to your clients and they are not really worried about this, I think that's the one good thing. I say good thing with not admiration in my voice, but thankfulness that the coronavirus has taught us to be more careful and more aware of our environments and the dangers that lurk within. So yes, we are all a little bit more careful now because we wear masks and we sanitize and we social distance and whatnot. But occupational health and safety is a little bit more than that, right? This one specifically looks at the measures as a result. The direction is as a result of the coronavirus, right? So it's just like that. But non-compliance with laws and regulations, very important, because if our clients don't comply, then it's got to affect our opinion or our conclusion.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.